Premaji, if you can share some thoughts that you had.
Hey, you. In the past few weeks, Guruji has introduced chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita and the teaching of values which enrich our lives and which are our tools to access that journey where we get evolved spiritually, we get evolved as humans, become loving, caring beings. But under the circumstances, these values are not readily available, partly because of resistance from the people who want to learn, partly because we don't have people who can transmit these value systems to others, and partly because we are all concerned with the worldly life. So when this became available on the 13th chapter, where Lord Krishna teaches the values and allows us to move forward in our journey, in our spiritual journey, teaching systematically the goal of life, these values, like Guruji said, are paramount. Most important of all, they are universal values. They're not available only to people who are privileged or chosen. They're available to everyone who is willing to walk the path and evolve themselves as human beings, and also to share it with anyone who does not have that opportunity. So it's a very rare gift, even the desire to want to learn, like Guruji said a little earlier. And that rare desire has a chance now of being fulfilled, because Guruji has taught this course in values before. And he said that it took him about a year to completely cover all the values. So now, in his generosity of spirit, as usual, he has offered to have the class, if perhaps once a month for an hour, and also to have a question answer session afterwards for a half hour or 3/4 of an hour, which would be very handy. I'm not talking about people in India only, because we have access to the Zoom. People from all over the world who have this desire to learn these universal values. They're not applicable just to one kind of people or a caste or a creed. It is something that the heart yearns for, and they cannot articulate themselves to say, this is what I want, yet they know that the search is not only the word happiness. The search is not for, I want to be peaceful. The search is not, they are incomplete. So that incompleteness reflects in the teachings that Sri Krishna teaches in the Gita, and which Guruji was talking about. When we learn about the truth, not the relative truth, but the ultimate truth, and then it leads to dharma. Dharma leads to shanti, where if you are at peace with yourself, you will not want to disturb everybody else. When you are disturbed, that's when you go and annoy everybody else. And from that comes a certain amount of peace within you and affection, a care for others. And you also feel compassion, saying that, after all, they're also suffering. And that brings the feeling of ahimsa. This is what I learned in the course of the study of the Bhagavad Gita. And Guruji is very articulate, and I find that somehow whatever he says sticks. And if anyone wants to investigate this new avenue, this is a wonderful opportunity to allow your friends, your family, or whoever wants to learn, and give that opportunity to them. to come and join. And I'm hoping that very soon this will be a reality. And Guruji, I can't, in spite of his very, very, very busy schedule, that he's going to find time to help anyone who wants to learn. And so all of us can be a part of this and encourage. If don't go out saying, oh, I have something, I know something, so come, because that's not going to work. You say, if somebody asks you and shows a genuine interest, just show them that there is an avenue available. Come and you can learn. And I feel I cannot tell you how grateful I am, Guruji, that you have offered this. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity for anyone who is hearing this message. Feel free to let us know if you're interested, or any of yours, or anyone who is showing interest and would like to be learning these values of enriching their lives, making themselves walk the path to being better.
So
Please come.
let me add a few words there. Thank you, Premaji. So what we are envisioning here is not another course on values per se. Okay, because if somebody wants to learn the values, they can attend these classes very much. We are actually talking Amanitham, Adamitam. But it is going to come from the attendees, okay, the people who have misgivings, okay, people who have doubts and confusions, fundamental confusions are there. And so the sessions will involve a lot of discussion. I'm not going to talk about values, really speaking. I'm going to talk about what they want me to talk about. Please understand this very well. This is not another parallel course on values, even though values is a big part. I want to hear the way I conducted this session, the 1 year session for teenagers, some 2 3 years, 4 years ago, is by asking them what they want. They didn't want to know about Hinduism or not. That was not their interest. They had some things in their mind, and then they just talked about it. And then I spoke about those. That is how it all started. So what I see this is, I'll tell you what it is not. It is not a course on Bhagavad Gita. It is not even a course on this 13th chapter Bhagavad Gita. It is not a course on Upanishads. It's not a Vedanta course also. Then what it is for them to appreciate where we are all coming from. What can be the fundamental problem? What are the possibilities out there? Okay. And where might we be going? Where might we be missing? Are there any blind spots that we have? And things of that nature. Because the message of Vedanta is not specific to any religion, correct? The whole is not religion specific. It's a fact. Either you understand it or you don't understand it. That's about it. So we don't say you believe it. There's no dogma involved there. And so there is something like that I think is a message that many such people who have misgivings can appreciate. But through their own eyes, I want to see what is their problem. I want to hear that. And I want to approach the Vedanta through their eyes, through their problems. Okay. So that's the idea here. So it won't be a course on any particular thing we have studied before, but it's really I don't even know how to call it. We should come up with a proper name, I think, or proper description. But that's what we are envisioning here. So any of you know people who are like that, who are on the one extreme, they're allergic to religion. Correct? Allergic. No, I have nothing to do with all these things, right? These things. So if there is some interest for them to hear a perspective from a religious guy. I'm a religious person, no doubt, right? And but I yet articulating our view without offending anybody, any sensibilities, then there is some room, some scope there, I feel. And so that's the thing here. And so pathway to the truth of life. Okay, somebody said that. So yeah, so the thing about these things is anybody can read whatever they want into these titles, right? So yeah, so we will find out any suggestions we have like that. Please let us know. And any ideas?
Also, Guruji,
Yeah,
there is fear. There is fear where some of the punitive things that they feel that religion offers, that religion is going to punish me, God is going to poke my eyes out, God is going to, have lightning strike me. All those misgivings, superstitions, misinformation that children have carried into their adulthood, and they're not able to let go. I think that is where your talent is going to come in most forceful.
yeah.
Because they have some of them do have no basics, even if you don't call it a religion, but daily living, like saying, "Oh, it's okay." Like they said, we don't believe in ahimsa, or saying that animals have no souls, or I'm afraid of you because you happen to be yellow, or anything, or have green hair. There is fear involved in anything that is religious because of the misgivings of the past. So the idea is to come open, like you said, whatever their questions are, we'll address, you will be addressing them one at a time according to their capacity to understand. You're a teacher by profession and by nature, so you'll know what to do. But what I'm saying is what is required is to remove that fear, the doubts, the to understand what life is not just coming and going. Whether we have a life after also is another question of contention. So there are many, many areas that people are putting their questions to. So I think it's a valuable service. We'll be reaching more people. I mean, we have a background, we have something to rely upon because our parents believed in that. These are people who cannot even rely on their parents. And gurus are, we don't know, that's an engaged unit. So even saying that this person is going to teach, the question will come, is he a guru? They will ask.
So
Then you have to say,
this is good. This is good because this is exactly what I like. I actually love this kind of stuff, as you may have noticed. I
that's
really
great.
do. And so, uh, point well taken. And fear and all the ideas people have about religion and religious people and religious texts and this and that, and therefore I have nothing to do with that, right? And so I think we that's why I want to approach it through their lens, through their
Mm.
lens, show them what's right or wrong about it. There's a lot of things right about what they say, also, right? Punitive, punish Western religion. So Western religion versus Eastern religion. You've got, and not that we don't talk about punishments. Kanna kuttinu. Swami kanna, Swami kanna kuttinu. It means don't steal, otherwise God will poke your eyes. That is how we heard. So
Yeah.
therefore, no, I won't steal, right? So yeah, so we have to address all those things, and I think we can do it. And what do you think, Premaji? Can we invite feedback from the rest of the audience to see
Yes, please.
what
Yeah,
Yeah,
thought they have?
Adi,
of
my
course.
question was, are you targeting a specific age group or is it
Good question. Yes, they cannot be very young. They're not addressing small children. They have to be sufficiently adult and to be able to understand the concepts.
So there must be, adults. Uh, so college going definitely welcome, right? And above high school, maybe okay, right? I mean, it depends on how mature they are, emotionally mature they are, and what conflicts start there, right? That's where that's a seed. That's the time when the seed is there growing. And so, as long as anybody out there is equal to an adult from all these problems perspective and ability to engage openly, I think I'm okay with that. That's why we say then nobody less than an adult. Okay, not for young children for sure. Any other
So
thoughts?
young people, yeah, you know, we could call them youth and have a specific age delineation. We could do that. Another thing is dharmic values that we hold are not understood because life is experience. Life is not knowledge. Okay, so when life is experience, then you have to do things to fall down or to learn. So unless that guidance is given, then the opportunity is lost in our youth. And that is the primary gift that Guruji is giving. It doesn't matter who it is, whether you're Chinese, Japanese, you know, African, Indian. It applies to all of us. We all have to go through life knowing, because sometimes in adolescence we don't know. Sometimes in adulthood we don't know. We are influenced. So that influence from others going the wrong way is not arrested because you do still have your karma to finish, but there is that option. I can do it positive, negative, or a different way. And that option is what Krishna teaches. And also Guruji has had success with other people also. So it's a valuable
And,
opportunity. So
are we saying people who have already been exposed to religion and have their misgivings about them? Is that what I heard you say?
Yes,
no,
it could be. So it could be. It could be. Yes, misgivings. Misgivings is the key here. Whether a person is religious or non-religious, both need to know because Vedanta is a great opening, great window for all people like with misgivings. So the religious person will say, "Oh, okay, that's the goal of religion. Really speaking, is to finally see who I am, see my true nature." The irreligious person who has concluded something about all religions are equal for that person, right? And will have a chance to see, okay, this message of Vedanta is not is missed by many religions, and it is to be promoted by Sanatana Dharma. Thankfully, Sanatana Dharma has this inside it, and doesn't mean Hindus know this. Okay, so it's accessible to both. Bhagya.
and he'll be a neutral window without judgment to answer every question, because all questions are legitimate in this forum. So it gives them clarity because all of us think differently. Their questions will be different too, right? So according to that, Guruji will decide what would be the best way to navigate and to help that person to see clearly.
So is this the same format, Jaykumarji, that you followed for the teenagers as well? Was it mainly that they had questions and they brought the questions to you and you guided
Yeah,
them, or?
that is how I started the whole series, which is I noted down what questions they had. I actually told them, I asked them, why are you here? And that's how I started. Why would you spend a valuable 1 hour every week here? And so they had some questions, etc. And so that's the way to start this. Because I'm not here to teach anybody anything. Somebody had a doubt. If you have a question for me, then I'll answer it. That's my approach to this. That's why it's not a lecture. Really speaking, these are not lectures. Even though I may spend minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes lecturing, but these are not really lectures. It's going to be, I'll stop. After 10 minutes, I'll stop. And then I'll ask for questions. After 5 minutes, I'll stop. Ask for questions. After 2 minutes, I'll stop. If I've made a point. Sometimes it may take 20 minutes to make a point. So
So
that's how.
can they join on demand, or like when they have a question and Or is this like, do they have to enroll for something? And
you know what, Bhagya? Nothing can be enforced in an online system. Nothing can be enforced. I can only offer it as a series of discussion. Those who want to come can come. If they feel like after 2 sessions, no, this is not for me, then okay, it's not for you. That's all. That's the way. So therefore, there is no question of courses and all. There may be a registration, but then it's
portion, but I was thinking, we can inform people that, there is this opportunity. If they have questions and when they have questions, they'll have a forum to approach, right?
right.
That's how I'm wondering if it can be.
Yes. So
ended
we'll
that
do
way.
one thing. We'll do one thing. We'll create an announcement. We'll post it here for feedback. Because I'm still not sure how how I'm going to draft this. Right? It's not clear cut. And so, if you feel like something can be added, something can be removed, let's do that. And good suggestion, Bhag.
Yeah, because I think that way, I feel like, a lot of people or a certain age group, right? They may not have questions right away, but if they know that there is a forum they can reach out to when they have questions like that, right? They can join and take advantage of it, is what I feel, instead of being misguided when they really need some guidance.
They can come for the first class and see if it is answering their questions. That might provoke them to ask questions later on. There could be many ways of doing it. So both are accessible. They could come when they want. And once they know what is being given, you have to know. So once you know what is being given, then you can either stretch your hand out and say, yeah, I want an answer. Or you can keep quiet and say, no, I don't need this. Your option.
So the first session most likely will involve, okay, it'll involve me hearing a lot from others. From everybody. Why are you here? What kind of question? I'll briefly introduce who I am and what I bring to the table, right? And then now I want to hear from you what you would like to hear from me. And I'll tell you if I can provide that or not provide that also. Okay. And so that it's going to be like that a discussion. Therefore, nothing, there won't be anything big coming from me in that session. There may be a few tidbits. And then we look forward, those who want to look forward to the second session, they can come. Okay. That's most likely it's good. But I'll give some insights, enough insights for people to hang on to so they can look forward to the second session, right? Won't be a vacuum. Yeah, Prasad and then Vijay.
Jay Kumar, yesterday we had a great program with HSS in Houston. So we had a lot of discussions around this actually. Basically referring to the textbooks also, like how the other than Indians, what misgivings they have about Hinduism and how we need to dispel them and all that. And then youth were also participated actually yesterday, some of them. That's a good sign actually. So so there are three speakers who are giving addressing the questions, answers to those questions. So the one thing is that here, since we are in US, the other than Indians, the recommendation is like bringing them into our fold. Because when we do some puja, for example, we only invite most of the Indians only, not others, even though they're friends. Assuming that, they may not be interested or whatever. But the point is actually to rope them in, and that way they get exposed to our values, our system, and interest in all that. And the second point is about the youth, actually. So youth, today in the US, youth has got some interest. It's not that totally it is not there, but they have their own challenges here. Based on the lifestyle today. So even we discussed about, the forum was actually to raise the points and discuss all those things. So Similarly, how media is to be used to do all these things. So that's the second factor, which is media usage. So here in this program, I think it's not necessary. I mean, I'm actually projecting the same point here, that we can bring in other people also, not like I think Premaji mentioned about other people, not necessarily Indians. So who are all interested, because as you said, it's not about Vedanta we are talking about, but basically addressing the questions about the way of life, present life and all that.
About getting some skills in our lives and how to work.
Yeah, how to deal with the life, actually, the challenges in the life.
Good. So, Prasad, one thing that occurred to me is I don't have an agenda. I don't have an agenda for this course. I'm not trying to bring anybody to Hinduism or this, that. All this, I don't have any agenda.
Yeah.
I'm going to just address the person's question. That's about it. That's going to be my objective. If there are no questions, I walk away. If there are questions, I hang around. This is what it's going to be. Okay. And so, I mean, good things should happen out of that, obviously. And so that's about it. And so it'll be
just making the point that, I mean, we should not be I mean, there are so many things, but we should not have feeling that, okay, we only have to call Indians here. I mean, if we have other people who are willing for understanding this, that's the only point which I want to make out of yesterday's
actually, I think it's very interesting what you have gone through yesterday. Also, right at the beginning, making it very sure that there is no conversion involved, and we believe in ahimsa because we believe conversion is himsa. Once we are flat and clear about what our motives are, I think there should be no problem, because they're also seeking, and they're looking for answers, whether it is in Buddhism or Jainism or Hinduism. They're looking. So our job is just, and we have such a good teacher, they're lucky. But again, it's no conversion. It's not like, I'm saying this because at the local Hindu temple, I used to speak to school children at one time. And the first thing the radio stations asked was, how many people have you converted thus far? I said, I don't convert people. They wanted to come, they wanted to see the temple, they wanted to know what it is. And all I tell them is, this is what we do. So that has to be very clear right from the outset, that we are not here to change anybody.
I think Hinduism is not interesting at all. I think we have to make that point clear. I mean, in fact, I don't think we need to discuss about conversion, because Hinduism never believes in conversion. So maybe we need to dispel, if at all, if they have any doubts about that.
Yeah, because a lot of them are afraid of that. Very, very afraid. We are a Catholic province here. So being Catholic and all that, they're very afraid that we're going to take their congregation away. And there's been no intent or purpose behind it. So yet, I had no idea they were going to ask me this on the radio and say, how many people have you converted? I was, what? So we have to anticipate questions, right? And so these are some of the clues that I have right now. So I'm just sharing it with you.
So there is a potential challenge. The challenge is going to be like this. Let's say there are two people in the audience. One person has full Shraddha in our Dharma. That person doesn't need to be convinced that Veda is a Pramanam, etc. I just don't know. I don't know what Vedanta is. Many people are studying Bhagavad Gita. I don't know what Bhagavad Gita is. And so I want to learn something. Okay. So that person is here. Now this other person is totally allergic to all religions. Totally allergic. But still he's there here. It is a miracle that that person should be here in this meeting, right? And so now addressing this person and this person are two different approaches. All of us in this class already have Shraddha and in Vedika Dharma. So we don't have to address any other questions. But if you have to both these people in the audience, then Managing this crowd is not easy. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Okay, it becomes a problem for me. If it comes to a situation where one of them may get bored. If I address this guy can get bored. If I address this guy will be wondering what kind of discussion this. This is all basic. He doesn't even know the basic. So it's possible. It's possible. I'm just cautioning you that potential is there. Okay? That potential is there. I mean, I've seen this. I've been in these kinds of crowds, and so this is possible. Not
The
that it is unmanageable, but it's possible. It's possible. So I want to caution you about that.
Yes, the ones that come and don't believe in religion, they're looking. Whereas the ones that come with fear, asking if the Bhagavad Gita is our Bible, they are thinking of contradiction between their teachings and our teaching. So it has to be handled differently. And it's a different kettle of fish there, because they are coming with a different outlook. This one is coming with a different outlook. So if they don't believe in anything and they're trying to find a niche where they'll be most comfortable, they're allowed to go and search for it as best as they can. Welcome. If they're coming because they're afraid, oh, I'm her friend, I am your friend, and I'm going there, then that possibility of the Gita being our Bible or something, then the question comes. There are questions that are asked like, well, I think your Krishna was Christ. That's why. See the name, Christ and Krishna? I'm a twice born Christian. So how do I go? Time concept of how many centuries ago Krishna came or Christ came, those things don't work. Somebody is trying to make me something different. And that's not our objective or anybody's objective if you're going by the values.
Sure.
And that is the purpose of the values.
Yeah. Yeah, Vijayji, go ahead.
So, Guruji, since this is for that age group where you can't really influence them to come and attend something, they have to, voluntarily come forward. It has to be some topics which are relevant to
Exactly,
them, right?
yes.
So that's where I think that's why I mentioned open conversation. But saying that, okay, it will address some of these areas. We know what are the common challenges that this generation is facing, right? I don't know about fear and all, but yes, stress is there, success is there. Some of these things we can say that this will address. Come with your questions, and you have, and I think in this particular program or whatever we are planning, there your credentials of IIT and corporate, all that will make a lot of relevance because they know you're coming from that background and you've gone through those corporate world to see how to handle those situations. Probably, I don't know how to get them to be interested to come.
Yeah,
Right?
actually, I'm wondering if we can have them first post questions and then select certain topics and let them know, okay, for this session, these are the topics we will address. So whoever is interested can attend that meeting, right? But once you register, if you keep getting information about, okay, what questions are being addressed today, then I think the people who are interested would show up. But the questions have to come from them, right? They have to post them somewhere and we select some questions for a specific session.
Good. So we can leave the first session that way, saying that, okay, now I've heard some questions. Okay, based on this, I'd like to address this ABC, 3 questions in the next session. Next section will have primarily these 3 questions. Like that, if we give an indication, then they will know, okay, that's what is coming, number 1. So there's no surprise. And every session can be led like the sense. After some time, what will happen is questions will die down. And occasionally some good questions will come. But it gives us the freedom to continue discussions on certain topics. And but I think that can be an approach we can use, which is identify the questions which will be addressed in every session. Right?
Exactly. And they'll also understand that they're driving it, right? They're posting the questions. It's not.
Yeah.
And also after a while, it will become that every session or every topic will be relevant to everyone in some way or the other. Because they are all connected, right? These are all interlinked in some way or the other. So they will feel, yes, though I was looking for one thing, but maybe the next session also will address some of my other issues.
Like
Which I did
Vivek
not.
Ramaswamy says, right? Vivek Ramaswamy says there is something underlying that is missing. So you're trying to make up for that with whatever.
No, Guruji made a very strong point earlier, and that was mature adults. They should, if they can't be adolescents, and mature adults would benefit from this course, right, Guruji? You said the people have to be mature. They need, maybe not adults, but people have to be in some way mature, correct?
Yeah, I think we have to define what that is too, right? I
So,
mean,
so see, we can't say the audience is mature adults. We can't say that. Or even though we are talking like this, right? So we have to give something as to which audience, what type of audience will benefit from this. People who have some questions of this nature, okay, etc., can come. That's why we should put it. And then age limit we're going to say. So age limit is meant for because children. This is not a course for children anyway. And if at all a course like that is there for children, I mean, children are always receptive. So you provide the right environment for that. But yeah, I think we can put a minimum age limit or something. Leave it at that.
Okay with you, Bhagya?
yeah, I was just hoping, I was thinking about my kids, right? So I don't know if they'll make the cut or not.
Okay.
Now, what is your age group there?
My son is going to be 21 and my daughter is going to be 18. So
18. Okay.
but I guess what I want them to do is at least listen to how the conversations are going, right? And then decide, okay, I want to get involved in this, right? I have questions. I want to leave it up to them, of course, but I also
They will do
I'm
that
still having
anyway.
trouble understanding what the audience is going to be, right? Even I'm not clear. So I think once the sessions start, maybe that's when we'll be able to understand who will benefit, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it becomes my job to first of all make everybody feel comfortable. First, relax, right? I mean, this is relaxation is so important, right? We can't come to a session like this and then what's he going to say next? What's he going to say next? And is this something? Did I do the right thing and all? Okay, initially one session it may be like that, 2 sessions, but after that all that should go out, and people should feel comfortable, relaxed, and then slowly people will start opening up and ask questions. More people who have been silent for 3, 4, 5 weeks will suddenly ask a question, things like that. So all that I've seen, we all know that. And so
But Guruji, is this targeting only youth, or because there are a lot of even senior people who are not exposed to.
no, it's not targeting youth, as we discussed. It is everybody above certain age, say 18. Now that the Bhagya mentioned 18, to allow her daughter to come, will reduce the age to 18. Something like that.
One thing I feel is maybe that could be the program where you can address very subtle things which probably the Upanishads or Bhagavad Gita also is not going into. Like, how do you change the I don't know what's the right word, behavior of a person or a character of a person. Look, listening to all Upanishads and still if you have not changed as an individual, it has served no purpose, right? So it might be a little hard hitting, but maybe that's the core we have to address. Yes, the core part of how an individual has to change to really become better person, right? I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, so that's why Premaji talked about values, which are meant for us to do that. That's one answer I can give you. The other answer I can give you is, hey, the people are going to drive this.
People are.
And so it's up to the people to ask those questions. And can you do that? If somebody says, then that will only give me an opening. It'll come. I think it'll come. But that's just another answer I'm giving. That's all.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Yeah.
Now, a completely youth session is a different, because that brings a different energy, and all youth will feel, yeah, that's it. Yeah, all my people are all there, and then they feel. So that's why mixing youth and adults is sometimes not a good idea. Just not a good idea. Adults can have, even adults, oh, young people are there in class. What will happen? Can I ask this question?
Exactly. Yeah, they may not be
What will
comfortable.
he think of me? All these complex things will work. So we need to. I don't know how this chemistry will work. I've never combined. Okay, children, even among children, I never combine. High school is separate. That's it. I don't mix high school with anybody below that.
Element.
Don't mix. Period. Because the conversations are entirely different. Correct. And here also, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure whether we can just leave it open, I suppose, and allow people to loosen up and then let everybody be free. We can pray for that. I think it can happen. I don't see it. I see that as a possibility, but that possibility is there. People can get vague ideas when they come. So it's up to the one who introduces such a person to say, this is a good group, you should go. I recommend this. So that word, that recommendation is the key on which they have Shraddha. They don't have Shraddha in anything else, right? That person, okay, Premaji told me to go, therefore I'm. That's it. Shraddha and Premaji.
Oh,
Prasad told me to go, therefore I'm good. That's it, over.
yes.
So if something goes wrong, Prasad is to blame. Like that. That Shraddha is important. Bhagya is to blame if something went wrong or something didn't work out. Okay, so that's okay. That's the way it starts. And then the Shraddha will automatically transfer to the person who is in front of them without their knowledge. Good. Very good. Any other final thoughts on this topic?
Yesterday, Damodar on MTS, he was while addressing, he mentioned one point, like, when the children ask the question, the parents say, you don't know, shut them down immediately. So I do that, he says, sometimes. And so why I'm saying that is because if they are mixed, the parents, elders, and they have the fear automatically, they don't come out so easily. And it also depends upon the parents how when they go back and address the questions between them, how they, that's all matters actually. So mixing is going to be a challenge actually.
Or what will happen is the youngsters just will not join after the first session. After the first few minutes, they just walk up. Suppose Bhagya's son or daughter came. They look at this crowd and then, Mom, this is not for me. That's it, over. Mom can't do anything and nobody can do anything. That's it, over. It's not for me. That's it. Why it's not for you? No, it's just not for me. Okay. It's just not. So let's stop. Let's I
So true.
quite a few, right? Man, they're very. So, that should be a separate session for youth. Separate session for youth will be dynamo. That's something I would enjoy something. I would really enjoy. And something that if you have any ideas on that and how to set something up, let me know. And especially Indian teenagers, American, Canadian, Western teenagers, Indians, okay, of Indian descent, have similar kinds of conflicts. Okay, we can address that very well. Yeah, or just not even Indian, or just Indian descent people in the West can be a very, very fruitful set of discussion. Yeah, there's value for that.
Because most of these universities here, they have Hindu Student Association or something, right? I think if we send the information to them, right, they can promote it there. There'll be a lot of kids on campus who will have questions. And I feel like I think it'll be very easy to gather a group of youth who can get engaged in the forums.
Bhagyaji, I mean, that's a good try, but it's not going to be that easy. We
Really?
tried because we tried actually for activism, actually, from that perspective. So I think they will have the same approach towards whether activism or towards, the spiritual, because of the challenges they face today. But actually yesterday there was a boy from University of Houston, from the students association, actually. So he was actually good, but how many people like that would be interested is the question, actually.
Yeah.
But
So the way I would respond to that is this. Rather than sending it to the organizations, etc. is okay, is one thing. But if a student organization is willing to organize this program and they want to invite me as a special whatever speaker once in 2 months or whatever, then that dynamic will be entirely different.
Yes.
Then you've got people, and then that invitation can be sent to other organizations in other universities, cities, etc., etc. And that becomes a different thing. And they are now inviting me. And so something to think about. Something to think about. Okay, good. There are no further thoughts, then we will.
If people want to put in their questions or their input into this program, where do they put it to? Say, I get the, if you have for the first class, we say we are going to, you're going to introduce yourself and tell us what you would like to know. So would you please formulate it as a question? Where does it go? Shall we? There has to be a channel.
We'll consult Narayanan and others. They can help us with how to set up this process. Okay. So maybe the 3 or 4 of us can sit together and let's formulate first. Let's formulate the how do you call this? Something. I don't want to say course description, right? But it's an announcement. Let's formulate this announcement and then send it to our friends and then ask them to give us feedback and then refine it.
Would you call it a dialogue?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Dialogue is good.
Samvada.
Dialogue is good.
Samvada.
Even Krishna calls it.
YouTube channel, Narayananji. I hope so. We are not stealing something.
Swami Narayanan. Who is this, Bhagya?
Huh?
No,
I think Samvada is a YouTube channel. I remember somebody's YouTube channel.
You can't take IPR on that.
Good. So we'll do that. We'll draft a message and then define it, and then we will establish a process, Premaji, for these things to be facilitated. Yeah.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraya Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trilokyanathaya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha.